Donald Trump has issued a warning to the new leader of Venezuela, saying in an interview that if she doesn't do what's right, she's going to pay a very big price, probably bigger than Maduro. He's referring, of course, to the dramatic nighttime capture of President Nicolas Maduro and his wife this weekend, seized by U.S. Special Forces in the capital, Caracas, and transferred to New York ahead of a court appearance tomorrow on narco-terrorism and drug trafficking charges. But the woman who's now been sworn in by Venezuela's Supreme Court as interim leader, Delcy Rodriguez, has already criticized America, demanding Maduro's release and saying Venezuela will defend itself. We'll have the latest from the capital, Caracas, and take a look at the wider implications of the events of the last 36 hours with Jeremy Bowen. But first, Tom Bateman has our top story tonight from Washington.
Nicolas Maduro, handcuffed, appearing to limp and surrounded by drug enforcement agents, taken down in the eyes of the Trump administration from president to perpetrator. Still, there was a New Year nod to the waiting camera.
Good night. Happy New Year.
Crowds waited outside the notorious New York jail, where he now faces charges of running a violent cocaine trafficking empire, a claim he's always rejected as a front for regime change. Now, an attempt by the US to coerce his allies that remain in power. Mr. Trump's top diplomat, Marco Rubio, long a hawk on Venezuela, says its leaders have to end drug smuggling and let in American oil companies.
We are not going to be able to allow in our hemisphere a country that becomes a crossroads for the activities of all of our adversaries around the world. We just can't allow it. We can't have a country where the people in charge of its military and in charge of its police department are openly cooperating with drug trafficking organizations. We're not going to allow that. These things are direct threats to the United States.
The raid on Maduro's compound amounts to the US's most controversial intervention in Latin America in 4 decades. Mr. Trump has claimed the country's Vice President, Delcy Rodriguez, has agreed to comply, pressing her with a new threat today that if not, she could pay a bigger price than Maduro. It followed her defiant public comments.
If there's something that the Venezuelan people and this country have very clear, is that we will never again be slaves, is that we will never again be a colony of any empire of whatever kind.
A US armada, says President Trump, is off the Venezuelan coast, the result of a months-long military build-up. It is now being used to impose an effective oil embargo on the country, and he says they're prepared to strike again if necessary. But opposition to that build-up had already been growing here in Congress for weeks, and now Democrats are railing against the president's action, calling it illegal